Hi, welcome to the Arthritis course. This course gives a general description of arthritis. May be helpful if you are unsure if you have arthritis. It provides general information about how arthritis is diagnosed and what you can do to manage it. In this course, we will learn definition, epidemiology, types, symptoms, signs, investigations, and treatment outlines of arthritis. So, arthritis is a name for a group of conditions affecting the joints. These conditions cause damage to the joints, usually resulting in pain and stiffness. Arthritis can affect many different parts of the joint and nearly every joint in the body. So, definition of arthritis is inflammation of the joints. And when joints are inflamed, they can develop stiffness, wall, swelling, redness, and pain. There are more than 100 types of arthritis. So, is rheumatism different to arthritis? Not really. Rheumatism is just a more general word that was used in the past to describe any pain in your bones, muscles, and joints. We know more about problems with bones, muscles, and joints. So we use words like back pain, tendonitis, and arthritis to describe these conditions now. So, who gets arthritis? Anyone can get arthritis, including children and young people. Many people think arthritis is a normal part of getting older. It isn't true. In fact, 2 out of every 3 people with arthritis are between 15 and 60 years old. Arthritis can affect people from all backgrounds, ages, and lifestyles. There is about 54.4 million adults in the United States have doctor-diagnosed arthritis. Based on adjusted estimates, 91.2 million adults either have doctor-diagnosed arthritis and/or report joint symptoms consistent with diagnosis of arthritis. By conservative estimates, between 2002 and 2014, almost two-thirds of adults with doctor-diagnosed arthritis were younger than 65 years old. It isn't clear exactly what causes arthritis, and different types of arthritis may have different causes. Sometimes the cause is simply unknown, but a combination of factors is thought to play a part. For example, it is known that some forms of arthritis tend to run in families, while some occupations or activities that cause repeated or significant strain in joints can increase the risk of developing osteoarthritis. Smoking can increase the risk, and the injury or illness can sometimes act as a trigger, while other lifestyle factors such as diet and exercise are known to help decrease the symptoms. We have to know that arthritis is an umbrella term covering over 100 conditions that affect the joints, tissues around the joints, and other connective tissues. A diagnosis of arthritis is often due to acute or chronic inflammation of a joint, which is often accompanied by pain and structural changes. The specific causes of arthritis are unknown, but may be triggered by infection, crystal deposition, genetics, injury, or repetitive use. Specific symptoms vary depending on the type of arthritis, but usually include joint pain and stiffness. And the main types of arthritis are osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and gouty arthritis. Number 1. Osteoarthritis affects over 30 million of the United States adults. Osteoarthritis is the most common form of arthritis in the United States. Osteoarthritis is often referred to as wear and tear arthritis or degenerative joint disease. Osteoarthritis patients are mostly affected in the hands, hips, and knees, experiencing pain, aching, stiffness, decreased range of motion, and swelling of the joint. As a degenerative disease, osteoarthritis over time causes inflammation and loss of cartilage in the joints. Osteoarthritis causes inflexibility, pain, and stiffness, and is primarily felt in weight-bearing joints such as the knees, hips, and spine. It can, however, occur in any joint, unlike systemic autoimmune forms of arthritis, such as lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. But osteoarthritis doesn't affect organs in the body. Signs and symptoms of osteoarthritis: swelling, stiffness, pain or aching, loss of flexibility, and or decreased range of motion, and bone spurs, extra bits of bone around the affected joint. Second, rheumatoid arthritis affects an estimated 1.5 million Americans. Rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune and inflammatory disease. Patients with rheumatoid arthritis have an immune system that attacks healthy cells in their body by mistake. Rheumatoid arthritis commonly affects many joints in the hands, wrists, and knees, but can attack any joint in the body. Rheumatoid arthritis patients may have morning stiffness, skin nodules, joint deformity, numbness, warmth, burning, and tingling sensation in the hand and feet. Individuals with rheumatoid arthritis have an autoimmune disease where the body is attacking self-tissues, beginning in the thin tissue membrane that lines the joints, which is called synovial membrane. Because the body's immune system is fighting itself, fluid builds in the joints, creating swelling, inflammation, and significant pain throughout the body. To date, rheumatoid arthritis isn't a curable disease. Rheumatoid arthritis produces chronic symptoms, meaning most of its sufferers can feel just fine for several days, weeks, or months, and then experience an acutely painful flare. And while some people feel the disease at work continuously, others will experience remission for months and even years. In signs and symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis, we will have pain and or aching in more than one joint, stiffness in more than one joint, tenderness and swelling in more than one joint, mirrored symptoms on both sides of body, both hands, both knees, both feet, weight loss, fever, fatigue or tiredness, and weakness. Third, gouty arthritis affects an estimated 8.3 million Americans. Gout is a very common form of arthritis. Gout usually affects one joint at a time, and it is often the big two. Uric acid crystals build up and it is very painful. Gout is most common in men and obese adults. If left untreated, repeated bouts of gout can lead to gouty arthritis, which is elusive, that lead to destruction of your joints. Age, diet, alcohol use, and family history can affect your risk of developing gout. Gout is a very common form of arthritis. It was once known as the disease of kings because of an rich diet of meat and alcohol will lead to a buildup of uric acid crystals causing a gout flare. Gout usually flares up in one joint at a time, and the big toe joint in your foot is often the first affected. As the uric acid crystals build up in your toe joint, they become very painful and will make it hard to walk and move about. If left untreated, repeated bouts of gout can lead to gouty arthritis, which is a more aggressive form of arthritis. Gout is most common in men and overweight or obese adults. There is currently no cure for gout, but there are ways to treat and manage your symptoms with medication and diet. In signs and symptoms of gout episodes or flares often come suddenly and can last days or weeks. This may be followed by weeks, months, or even years without symptoms before another flare begins. In addition to affecting the big toe, gout can also affect the other smaller toe joints, the ankle, the knees. Symptoms of gout in your joint may involve swelling, intense pain, heat, and redness. Osteoarthritis symptoms is a degenerative disease, causes degeneration of articular cartilage, affects weight bearing joints, and the patient will have pain with movement. In rheumatoid arthritis, it is an inflammatory disorder, causes proliferation of synovial membrane, affects at least 3 joints involved, causes morning stiffness for 1 hour, and the pain is extreme. In gouty arthritis, it is a metabolic disease in which we have impaired purine metabolism, and it affects just 1 joint. The patient will have severe pain in acute attacks and mild pain in chronic state of the disease.